explained in the memo, and we've talked many times, that the police department is trying to switch its strategy over to a more data-based, more data-driven crime analysis. And so I think with the hire of the latest crime analyst, who seems to be doing an outstanding job up to this point of trying to connect dots, it makes it a little easier for us to focus patrols in the places that they need to be. And as we talked about the ordinances, and you'll see another one of those tonight, is when times change, then so do the need to actually change some of the ordinances are. And I'm going to give an example. No one thought when we did the dangerous drug, or when we talked about dangerous drugs, that we'd be dealing with legalized marijuana and then hemp infused products and then THC taken out of and then enhanced synthetically. And so all of that was dressed in that dangerous drug ordinance that you passed earlier in the year, and they've done great things with that. The street racing was another one. He's working on a disorderly conduct that's going to come back before you again. And so I think there's been a lot of time here spent sitting here and thinking through what these ordinances are and where some of these gaps are, how things fall through when the state decides not to file charges. We need to have a catch basin for some municipal charges on that, so somebody doesn't walk away scot-free. And then we have really good success stories with the CIT and the way we're addressing mental illness. So, and how we've partnered with North Kansas City Hospital and some of the other local professionals that deal with that. Next goal was focus resources on water treatment and distribution improvement plans. That was a big one. If you remember, the 2024 COP allocated $14 million for water treatment. That was about a $20 million COP, $14 million of it went to water. And some of the expenses so far have been on the SCADA, the data acquisition software. 120,765 have been spent to date. Security fencing around the Antioch Tower, $18,600. And then we're in phase one, or the design phase, of the $9 million anticipated water plant improvements. And then we've talked about the transmission line that runs between the water plant and goes under I-29 and 169 into the city. That's in the design phase as well. $3 million was allocated towards that. Water main replacement. I know with the dry weather, we're hearing a lot about water main replacement. I know Tim's tearing his hair out, and so we talk each other off the ledge here. We're trying the best we can to address those issues. We, in the last 3 years, have replaced 4 miles of water main at a cost of $3.65. So if you want to just upscale it a little bit, I just tell everybody it's about $1 million a mile. So the fact that we can go out and just replace everything is not possible when we're talking there's 135 miles worth of water main distribution lines out there. So we're trying, and I think we're addressing some of the worst areas, and we're allocating even more money at mid-year to try to address some of the worst places so we can cut down on that. Some of the dry weather is causing a lot of these breaks, and so we'll just kind of keep working through it and allocating the money we need to and identifying the things that need to be fixed immediately. 5,000 meters have been inspected. That's probably more than that. I was out in Tim's office the other day, and he had stacks and stacks and stacks of paperwork, and he was doing data entry on some of these water meters. So we have roughly 10,000 water meters, so half of them have been inspected. And the service lines, that's another thing he's been working on. His office is littered with all the data entry he's been doing. And it was 75% inventory was completed a few weeks ago, but we're much closer than that, aren't we, Tim? 95% now in just a matter of a few weeks. So I know he's catching up on that. We're nearly complete with that. Continued commitment to the downtown commercial corridors, underdeveloped areas through effective and innovative infrastructure and redevelopment strategies. Again, I go back to the 2024 COP where we allocated $4.4 million to match $4.4 million grant that we got through Mark for a total of $8.8 million North Oak Streetscape. And the designs of that are going to be, you'll get a look at that. I haven't even seen them yet, but I think by Wednesday during goal setting, we'll actually get our first look at it. We still have ongoing discussions regarding multifamily housing another project on North Oak. We're still having discussions regarding a suitable development project in the 7300 block of Emlyn Highway. And I think Fence and Style, I talked to them at Whiskey Fest. They will be planning on opening the doors in 6 weeks or so. They should be done with that. And again, we've renewed the leases for Summit Grill and Stone Canyon, and we signed the new lease with Overflow for the space next to Stone Canyon. We still have ongoing discussions about the possibility of a second hotel. And I know we've worked, Tim's had a lot of conversations with MoDOT for the reconstruction of M1. I think it's going to be surfacing all the way from I-29 up to 64th Street and then full depth reconstruction from 64th to 72nd Street. And I think that's next year if I'm correct. Yeah. And then I think Walmart reinvested millions of dollars into their new building up there. The renovations inside have been pretty noticeable, obviously. City Hall, actually we're sitting in City Hall. That is a something I think that was badly needed and has really helped change the look of the downtown area as well. And of course, Parkside at Hobby Hill has been hugely successful. Provide the resources and support strategies, continue to improve residential and commercial code enforcement. Code enforcement is trending slightly higher, the violations, than in 2023. In the first 6 months of 2023, they had 821 violations compared to 1,230 violations so far in 2024. 78 citations were in the first 6 months of 2023 as compared to 91 in the first 6 months of 2024. But one thing I did note is we're about $7,000 less in abatement the city is having to pay, which means that people are cleaning and mowing themselves rather than relying on the city to come do it. So that could be a positive sign right there. Finalize plans to build an event center to replace the existing barn on the AJ farm to provide long-term program opportunities. This is actually a really exciting one. Again, through the 2024 COP, $2 million was allocated for the event center venue. We have buy-in from the stakeholders as far as the AJ farm. I think the council had looked at the initial design and approved it, so we're getting a really good feeling that there's strong community support for this. Everyone I talked to when I mentioned this is really excited to see something happen out there. We have actually on the agenda tonight, we have an agreement with Shape Architecture, who we've selected to help to develop the interior and the site plan for the facility. We're excited about that. They had a lot of interesting ideas that we really liked when we interviewed them. And my plan, and I'll say it again on Wednesday, my plan is to have the next goal setting in 2025 in the event center, because that's our target date of opening that and being done with that is October 2025. So real excited, and we're really looking forward to that. Prioritize infrastructure for neighborhood revitalization to meet the needs of our residents, encourage quality residential density and homeowner investment to preserve and increase housing values, I'll just go down through the list here. We've laid out 3.37 miles of curb and gutter, a little over a mile linear feet of a mile of a sidewalk, 100 ADA compliant ramps, 11 lane miles of roadway have been milled and overlaid with 9,500 tons of asphalt. 9 lane miles of microsurfacing is ongoing, and 18 lane miles of full resurfacing in the fourth quarter of 2024 is planned. So altogether, we have, in fiscal year 2025, we have allocated in excess of $2 million towards that project, which is over double of what we've done in years leading up to that. I remember when we started doing $1 million, and it seemed like a lot. And this year, we're planning for $2 million to try to get ahead of things, and that's including the $750,000 redirected from the 24 budget surplus that council decided they wanted to go towards street maintenance, and that's what we did. But when we talk about infrastructure and quality neighborhoods and stuff, we can't forget about the amenities that we're bringing to the neighborhoods. The dog park, the pickleball court, the Flora Inclusive Park, the Linden Trail, the Vivian Road Trail. Those are all things that are ongoing right now. They're in the works that we're working on that I think bring a lot of good amenities to neighborhoods, which raise property values. Promote initiatives to beautify Gladstone by encouraging civic engagement and community pride. This is where Councilmember Moore has actually rolled up her sleeves and actually got to work here, forming the Gladstone Green Team. That's about 60 people on that volunteer list. They meet once or twice a month to actually go out and pick up trash. There's going to be an article in the fall magazine about the Green Team and how you can volunteer. I think that we've also supported a couple neighborhood dumpster days as well. So I've gone out a couple times to help with the Gladstone Green Team, and I know what I've picked up. And so when you look back and see the number of times they've done this over there, I'm estimating thousands and thousands of pounds of trash have probably been collected and picked up and disposed of properly in this city. So thank you for doing that. Promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in all we do to continue to be a welcoming city to everyone. We strive hard in this, actually. I think we actually do have a welcoming community. I think we work hard to make this a very pleasant culture to work and create a very welcoming workplace. We provide diversity training to every employee as they're onboarding, and we've actually again scheduled 21st Century Learning and Consulting, Brett Hood, to come in and do a citywide implicit bias training in January 2025. That's all lined up. We had him out here about 3 years ago, and it was a very successful class. He does a fantastic job, and some of the worst critics that actually went to that training forced to go to that training actually had some of the best comments about that class. He makes it great. It's a wonderful experience, and so we're happy to bring him back again to provide that training. Obviously, the racial profiling and implicit bias training for law enforcement is ongoing, and it's actually something that's mandated by post. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that for the second year in a row, Mayor Spallo herself represented the city of Gladstone in the 2024 Kansas Pride Community Alliance Parade, and she did it last year as Mayor Pro Tem. So I think overall, I think we project ourselves to be a very diverse and welcoming community to all. Develop and implement communication strategies to better inform and engage our residents. The addition of the community newsletter, I actually have a copy sitting on my desk I need to review before it goes out again, is ongoing. Everbridge was a notification system that we actually have subscribed to and renamed Gladstone Alerts. We actually tested that system about a month and a half ago, which was really successful in blowing up our phones up there, because we learned that we need to put something in there that, you know, this is real, because people are so used to spam anymore. We internally standardizing and coordinating our social media platforms. I know Nikki has actually had classes and meetings with all the departments who run their own Facebook pages to make sure that the messaging is all the same and everybody is on the same page. And there was some pages and social media platforms that were duplicates, and so we've taken those down to try to be a less confusing presence on the internet. In our social media presence. And then I have attended myself some neighborhood meetings, Rotary and Kiwanis, and actually done question and answers to try to communicate to the residents what's going on within the city of Gladstone and answer any questions they might have. Initiate plans and build partnerships to develop Flora Park as an all-inclusive recreational space. This is another project that we're all pretty excited about, where we partnered with Variety KC and received a $250,000 grant. In addition, we've applied for a grant from the Missouri Department of Conservation Land and Water Conservation Grant Fund that could pay up to $500,000. We're just waiting to see. $1 million have been allocated in the 2024 certificate of participation to this project. Phase 1, or the design phase, is in progress. It has been reviewed, and we sent it back for improvements, and has recently come back to us, and we'll unveil that again on Wednesday in goal setting. You get your first look at what we have in mind over there. We're talking about, because of the grant puts us a little bit pushes it a little bit farther out, but there's some things we can do, not knowing whether we got that grant or not, and developing the site plan would be one phase, and then actually finishing the playground would be phase 2. So we're planning to do that in 2 phases. So all in all, that is how we've moved forward with the 2024 goals, and everybody's worked really hard on those this year, so we look forward to seeing what's ahead in 25. Can I answer anybody's questions, or did I miss anything?
We commend your efforts.
Yeah.
A lot of work here in the last year.
Yeah, and we'll have a lot of work moving forward. A lot of these projects are multi-year projects, but they'll be worth it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is everybody ready to get started? I would like to welcome you to the regular City Council meeting on October 14, 2024 at 7:35 p.m. And I would also like to welcome tonight Troop 7495, our scouts that are seated here. We've got Scoutmaster Stephanie McCleary, Aileen Panjada, Kat Thomas, Ginger Haladik, Lily Esker, Lizzie McCleary, Mackenzie Whitworth, Tom Martin, Robert Thomas, and Bill Dykes. Welcome to this evening's City Council meeting. If you'd like to stand up with us in just a second, we'd like for you to lead the pledge. Madam Clerk, I'd like you to note that all City Council persons are here tonight, and we do have a quorum. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Item number 4 on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. If there are no objections or changes to the agenda, it will stand as presented. None? It will stand as presented. Item number 5, approval of the September 23rd, 2024 regular City Council meeting minutes.
They're as follows.
Councilmember Moore.
I move for the adoption of the September 23, 2024 regular City Council meeting minutes.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the regular city council meeting minutes from September 23rd, 2024. All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The regular city council meeting minutes from September 23rd, 2024 stand approved as published. Our next item is item number 6. We have a proclamation for National Native American Heritage Month. Those representatives, please come forward. Tonight we have Christy Newhall, it's our regent, Jean McHenry, Jim and Judy Chronister, Carrie English, and Susan Dowden. Very good. It's good to see you all again. Has it been so long? Yeah, feels like it, so. All right, well, I'd like to read the proclamation, and then if you guys have anything that you'd like to say, we would welcome those comments. Whereas the history and culture of our great nation has been significantly influenced by American Indians and indigenous peoples, and whereas the contributions of American Indians have enhanced the freedom, prosperity, and greatness of America today, and whereas their customs and traditions are respected and celebrated as part of a rich legacy throughout the United States, and whereas Native American Awareness Week began in 1976 and recognition was expanded by Congress and approved by President George Bush in August 1990, designating the month of November as National American Indian Heritage Month. And whereas in honor of National Native American Heritage Month, community celebrations as well as numerous cultural, artistic, educational, and historical activities have been planned. Now therefore I, Tina M. Spallo, Mayor of the City of Gladstone, Missouri, on behalf of the City Council and the residents of Gladstone, Missouri, do hereby proclaim November as National Native American Heritage Month and urge all our citizens to observe this month with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. Congratulations.
We're glad to have our
Yes.
display at Midnight Library as usual,
Yes.
and we will put up our proclamation there.
Great.
And we sent 150 books up to the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota, and I'm making a donation to the National DAR Indian Scholarship Fund.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's our pleasure. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Now
Let's take a picture here. Let's
Okay,
get
good. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item is communications from the audience. Members of the public are invited to speak about any topic not listed on the agenda. While speaking, please state your name and address for the record and limit comments to 5 minutes. Anyone like to speak? Seeing none, we will move on to comments from our city council. Councilman Davis.
You know, I don't have much to say tonight, but I will say to Troop 7495, thank you for being here. I remember when I was in Scouts, Troop 9, and I always kept telling myself, I'm never going to remember this stuff. You do. You remember it a lot, and you don't realize how often you need the stuff that you learn in Scouts. So I'm proud of what you're doing, and I continue to learn with it.
Thank you. Councilman Garnett.
Thank you. I had nothing, but after that I wanted to add that I was a Scout also.
Councilmember Moore.
Thank you, Mayor. I had the opportunity last Friday to attend the city's health fair, and it was such a positive experience. There were opportunities for flu shots, B12 and other shots, massage, dietitian consultation. It was just a great event and just an overall super positive experience. I ran into some employees who had just been in for their shots and massage out in the hallway, and they were saying, can we do this every month? We love this. So I just want to commend Amanda and Kaylee for just a really beautiful job in making that happen and giving that opportunity to our employees. It's really nice. Also, I wanted to congratulate Justin Murky and his staff for a great Whiskey Fest. It was really a great event this year. It seems to get bigger and better every year, and I know that it's a lot of effort to put that on. So just thanks a lot for all the great effort you expended to make that happen for the city.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Thank you, Mayor Spallo. I only have two things. One is Councilmember Moore just stole my thunder on the Whiskey Fest. Thank you. And the second thing is I was not a scout. That's all I have.
We know.
Well, I'd like to also say thank you to Justin. And I don't think that we can quite, 11 years ago, almost 12 years ago, when we opened Linden Square, we could quite imagine that event that occurred this past weekend. And it has grown by leaps and bounds. And not only Whiskey Fest, but all of our weekend concerts and activities that we offer there. And just the appreciation by our residents and non-residents that come to that venue for entertainment every weekend. And I look forward to Whiskey Fest every year. Can't wait for it. And hopefully we can do something different like a brew fest in the future. I know you don't want to hear that, Justin, but a lot of people were talking about it in the crowd the other evening. So thank you. Great event. I was a scout.
Come on.
So I was a Girl Scout, you know, and my brothers are both Eagle Scouts, and my dad is an honorary Tribe of the Mickasay, and my sisters won the Beaver Award, and just all sorts of stuff. So we're all Scouters up here. Okay. Mr. City Manager.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Just two things. The city is conducting a community survey designed to gather resident opinions and feedback on Gladstone's programs and services. The information requested in the survey will be used to improve and expand existing programs to determine future needs of the residents. You can visit the city's website to participate, or you can look at, take a picture of some of the QR codes that we have around. And I believe I think they're being mailed out as well. So there's a lot of opportunities to actually complete a survey. So please do that because we're anxious to hear the feedback. And this Friday night is Friday Fright Night from 6 to 7:30 at Happy Rock East. Kids can trick or treat from a variety of vendors and will be treated to a hot dog and a hot chocolate. The cost is $2 per child, or an unopened toilet paper or box of tissues, which goes to the North Lane Christmas store. That's all.
Thank you. Moving on, item number 10 is in our regular agenda tonight. Resolution R-24-62, a resolution authorizing the destruction of certain records in accordance with Revised Statute of Missouri, Chapter 109, and application state retention schedules. I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Spallo.
Councilmember Moore.
I move for the adoption of Resolution R-24-62.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution R-24-62 stands approved. Item number 11, Resolution R-24-63, a resolution authorizing change order number 1 in the amount of $47,650 to the contract with McGuire Iron Incorporated for the design of water tank renovations, project WP2492C. I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Spallo.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Move the adoption of Resolution R-24-63.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution R-24-63 stands approved. Item number 12, Resolution R-24-64. A resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a professional services contract with Shape Architecture in a total amount not to exceed $106,100 for the architectural design and planning of an event center at the Atkins Johnson Farm and Museum. Entertain a motion.
Mayor Spaulding.
Councilman Davis.
I move to approve resolution R-24-64.
Second. Please, I defer to the man.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution R-24-64 stands approved. Item 13, Resolution R-24-65, a resolution authorizing change order number 7 in the amount of $481,000 or $481,498 to the contract with Infrastructure Solutions LLC for the fiscal year 24 water main replacements and storm drainage project WP 2487.
Mayor Spaulding.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Move for the adoption of resolution R-24-65.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution R-24-65 stands approved. Moving on to our first bill reading, item number 14, bill number 24-30, an ordinance amending the city code to address tampering with the property of another.
Mayor Spaulding.
Councilman Garnos.
I move to place bill number 24-30 on its first reading.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to place bill number 24-30 on its first reading. Is there any discussion? All in favor of placing bill number 24-30 on its first reading, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Madam Clerk, please read the bill.
First reading bill number 24-30, an ordinance amending the city code to address tampering with the property of another.
Mayor Spaulding.
Councilman Garnos.
I move to accept the first reading of bill number 24-30, waive the rule, and place the bill on its second and final reading.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to accept the first reading of bill number 24-30, waive the rule, and place the bill on its second and final reading. Is there any discussion? All in favor of placing bill number 24-30 on its second and final reading, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Madam Clerk, please read the bill.
Second reading bill number 24-30, an ordinance amending the city code to address tampering with the property of another.
Mayor Spaulding.
Councilman Garnos.
I move to accept the second and final reading of bill number 24-30 and enact the bill as ordinance number 4.683.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to accept the second and final reading of bill number 24-30 and enact the bill as ordinance number 4.683. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Davis,
Aye.
Councilman Garnos,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
Aye.
Mayor Spaulding.
Aye. Bill number 24-30 stands enacted as ordinance number 4.683. Item number 15, first reading of bill number 24-31, an ordinance amending the city code by adopting election changes to the plan provision of the City of Gladstone, Missouri's local government employees retirement system.
Mayor Spaulding.
Councilman Davis.
I move to place bill number 24-31 on its first reading.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to place bill number 24-31 on its first reading. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of placing bill number 24-31 on its first reading, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Madam Clerk, please read the bill.
First reading bill number 24-31, an ordinance amending the city code by adopting election changes to
to the plan provision of the City of Gladstone's Missouri Local Government Employees Retirement System.
Mayor Spello.
Councilman Davis.
I move to accept the first reading of bill number 24-31, waive the rule, and place the bill on its second and final reading.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to accept the first reading of bill number 24-31, waive the rule, and place the bill on its second and final reading. Is there any discussion? All in favor of placing bill number 24-31 on its second and final reading, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Madam Clerk, please read the bill.
Second reading bill number 24-31, an ordinance amending the city code by adopting election changes to the plan provision of the City of Gladstone's Missouri Local Government Employees Retirement System.
Mayor Spello.
Councilman Davis.
I move to accept the second and final reading of bill number 24-31 and enact the bill as ordinance 4.684.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to accept the second and final reading of bill number 24-31 and enact the bill as ordinance 4.684. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Davis?
Aye.
Councilman Garnos?
Aye.
Councilmember Moore?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith?
Aye.
Mayor Spallo?
Aye. Bill number 24-31 stands enacted as ordinance number 4.684. Item number 16, is there any other business to come in front of the City Council tonight? Seeing none, we are adjourned.